Welcome, everybody, back to the TBD podcast. This is the episode, the culmination of all you've been waiting for. Bracketology. And Keenan and I promised last week the perfect bracket. We're going to deliver on that promise. And the reason that we're going to deliver on this promise is by bringing in two of the biggest experts that we know in the field. Alex Burnett, my high school friend, teammate. He was NEA best under the sun basketball player, one of the greatest basketball players I personally know. Averaged like 18 blocks a game, something like that. So absolute legend. And then Keenan's amazing, brilliant, genius data cousin right here, Austin Streitmatter, who needs no recognition. His name will be among the Lenardis and such, and the Metcalfs and such later on in further years. And then, of course, Keenan, the beautiful man who still has the tan skin from Blue Mountain Beach. Not as much as the white. The teeth are still white. They're just not shining in the night sky like they were on last episode. But anyways, we're going to get into it. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going straight in to the bracket here. I'm going to allow these guys to interject, but we're going to, as we speak, we're going to create the perfect bracket using the knowledge that we have from these data wizards and just absolute scientists as it comes to bracketology. So y'all hop on in.
Well, we probably should start top left. Alabama over 16. Don't overthink it. Don't be stupid. Just take it.
We'll take it.
As sad as it is to pick Alabama at any sport or any position, you got to
do it. It's a no-brainer, honestly, to go ahead and just throw in the 1 seeds. I feel like, unless y'all are somehow
let's save the viewers some time.
But let's hop into 2 seeds here. I personally didn't pick any 2s over 15s. Any objections there?
Any 15s over 2s, you mean?
Sorry. I picked all 2s over 15s. That's good. If I had to pick one, I guess I think
Colgate.
I'd probably go Vermont over Marquette. But
see, I think if Colgate hits some shots, they could get it running. But I don't think Texas is too high right now. They're just.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But that's a bad draw if you're Texas. You do not want to draw Colgate as a 15.
Yeah, they're just in a bad region. But Colgate always scares somebody and then just ends up losing. That happened to Tennessee and Arkansas. So 3 seeds. What we got? Baylor. I'm picking Baylor. Anybody disagree there? Xavier, Kennesaw State. I think we got Xavier.
Xavier's pretty high.
Is the Streitmatter model diabolically opposed to that? Or
No, it's on board.
Okay. This one, I guess, apparently some analysts were saying could be an upset watch, but I don't know if Austin has any thoughts on that.
That's news to me.
Okay, it's news to you. Okay.
I don't know what analysts are saying that, but
the two 3-14s that they said were on upset watch were these 2 matchups, the Kansas State game and the Gonzaga game. So
K-State, I can see. I'm not on board with Gonzaga getting upset. So
yeah. Are
you willing to make an argument? Are you willing to make an argument that Montana State's going to get the job done?
It's more of an argument against K-State than it is for Montana State.
Oh man, okay.
So
I need to listen to these arguments. I'm kind of big on K-State, so we'll listen to this later. Okay, the 4-13s. These are the ones that the dominoes do fall. These do happen. Honestly, a decent amount of time. You're going to get one of these 4 probably going to happen. So we probably have to pick one of these. Well, let's hear your thoughts on this first one. Virginia, Furman.
I got Furman.
Wow.
And let me tell you why. Okay, so Virginia, I mean, they're known to not be able to have or to not have this high-powered offense except for the year they won, I mean, but they had some elite guards. The reason I think Furman's going to be able to hit shots, and I think Virginia's going to get stuck. I don't think Kihei Clark is going to be able to create, and I think Furman's going to shock them. But I think they're going to they have to hit 13 threes.
Yeah, and they
have to hit 13 threes to win, at least.
Austin, any thoughts on that one? We've seen Furman. We've seen Furman this year.
What do you think?
I've watched a lot of Furman games this year. I'm actually on board with Virginia for pretty much the same reason you said for Furman, but for the opposite way. I think Furman is pretty okay defensively and relies heavily on just simply outscoring their opponents. I think they beat us like 93 to something and 92 to 88 in overtime. So I always trust Tony Bennett to play against Furman. They haven't played in a big arena, and when you shoot threes the way they do, you kind of need that reliance on like almost not having to readjust. I think Virginia's perimeter defense, new arena, shutting down the three from a just pure shot standpoint. I think this is a good upset to pick if you're going to pick one. I personally am riding with Virginia here.
Okay. Respectable.
All I can
But
say is this
I don't
isn't
agree with, I don't disagree with you. So
That's fair. This isn't the 413 that I picked personally, but again, we'll get to that later. But I don't know, Keenan. I've got UVA in my personal bracket. I've watched Furman live, but what do you think, Keenan?
Yeah, I think it's one of those games that I personally pick Virginia, but it's also Furman's a good enough team where they go on a run during the game, and they've got the talent, obviously, to knock this off. But I think Virginia probably wins.
yeah, I'm taking Virginia here. Not surprised if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no,
That's
for
what I
sure,
would say.
for sure. Majority rules. Alex may make us bite our words in the end, but we'll
He may,
credit
he
where
may.
credit's due. Here, all right. Here's the one. I know Austin's an Indiana
Oh,
fan.
don't do
I
it,
feel so
Graham.
bad for him for it, but this is my personal 13/4 upset based on sincere carries, guard plays, guy that I think could go absolutely ballistic in the tournament. I know Trace is like, literally a god amongst men when it comes to basketball players and things like that. But I also just have a bias against the Big Ten. I'll admit that. And I sadly, this is going to be the upset that I pick. Partially, the reason that I do pick it is because I want to kind of see this matchup between Drake, which we'll get into that later, and Kent State. But I'll hear y'all's thoughts on it. Of course, we're going majority rules here.
Indiana is so
last.
fascinating to me. And Austin, I would love to hear your perspective. Obviously, your family, Indiana fans. Indiana is one of those teams that I can literally see going to the Final Four. They're that good, and I also see them getting popped in the first round. They're so all over the place for me, and I think that's probably, you look at their record. They've beaten Purdue twice, and then they've had these other lackluster games where they've lost to a Penn State, and so. I don't know, Austin. Love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, Alex, do you have any thoughts before I go on my shortened Indiana tirade here?
Yeah, I'll say one thing. I'm really impressed with Jalen Hood-Schifino.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the way he, like, even with the loss of, was it Xavier Johnson, right?
Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought once they lost Xavier Johnson, it was pretty much toast for Indiana. I mean, as far as making a run in the tournament. But see, I'm with Graham thinking Drake's going to get to the Sweet 16, but I do think Indiana definitely gets by Kent State. I don't think they can guard TJD, and I think Schifino shows up. So,
yeah, I'm on board with that as well. For Indiana, it's inconsistency that's dragged us down the whole year. Big arena, big stage. I think we played well in it outside of the tournament against Penn State when we simply got outshot. I think, as Alex mentioned earlier, key to watching this game is Hood-Schifino. Team goes where he goes. If he plays like the freshman he is, we'll lose by 30 to Kent State. But if he plays like the Big Ten freshman of the year that we've seen him play at, this game will be close and we'll be like, why did we ever pick Kent State or think about it? So for me, I'm rocking with Indiana, but I think that if you look at when we've struggled mightily, it's been when Hood-Schifino doesn't play well against tough guards, and when Trace gets bodied because we don't really have a 3-point game. I think we were, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. I think that we were like 1 for 12 against Penn State and made our first 3 with 12 minutes to go in the game.
Right.
So like not good. So I'm rocking with Indiana on a grit and like just brutal game to watch. Again, would not be surprised to see Indiana lose.
I think it'll be interesting to see how Miller Kopp and Trey Galloway, if they're hitting shots, I mean, they're hard to beat.
Yeah. Tamar Bates needs to get more run, but we'll see.
Hey, for your sake, Austin, I hope they get the job done. It's just my personal bracket, but we'll go with Indiana here. I didn't really feel as strongly about these 413s unless y'all are feeling really strongly about them. I felt like the top 413 matchups were a little scarier, but hey, I see Austin, grinning a little bit. So you jump in.
I I've been an outspoken anti-Tennessee fan for a long time, anti-Rick Barnes. The success has not been there with the talent. I think when you look at this Louisiana team, they're dangerous coming out of the Sun Belt. We knew whoever won that bracket would be scary. I think that Tennessee, Louisiana is a hot upset pick, but I think it's for a good reason. In that, for me, I have Louisiana over Tennessee, because I think that Tennessee can't score the ball. They simply can't. And they just lost their point guard, like one of their best players. And in games when they haven't had their point guard, they've given up over 83 of the past four. That's a recipe to get upset in the first round of the tournament to a team that's coming there, hungry, is hot, can play the ball well. I'm taking Louisiana over Tennessee.
Alex, I know you're the Memphis fan here. I don't know if you have any thoughts.
I don't like Tennessee either. I do not think they can score efficiently, especially without Ziegler. I think they're going to struggle. But I mean, I've watched a lot of Sun Belt this year, and from what I can tell out of Louisiana, is Jordan Brown they go through him. So you know immediately to begin the game, they're pounding the ball inside, and that's what opens up their outside game, which they do hit shots. They do hit shots on the outside, but I think the way what is Plavlich? Is that his name, Graham?
Yeah, Plavlich, something like that.
I think the way him and Kwame are going to be able to guard Brown and pretty much just shut him down immediately, it's going to hurt Louisiana. I think Tennessee's going to barely skid by, but let me tell you, they're not going to get past the second round.
Yeah, I've got Tennessee personally. I just sadly for me, I do think like Louisiana, and I do know the Sun Belt's had good success, but they're just not my favorite 13. They're probably not even 13 for that matter. So that's the only reason. I think it's less of a belief in Tennessee, maybe in more of a disbelief in Lafayette. I don't know, Keenan, you can jump in before. I don't know.
No, I'd just be regurgitating everything you all have said. I think, you know, the scary part for Tennessee, and I think the things that people are worried about with Tennessee is their scoring. Yeah. You got to put up points, and if you're not putting up points, and we've seen multiple times this season where Tennessee's put up like 40 some points, and you're not going to put up 40 points in the NCAA tournament and come out with a win. Yeah. So I think it could be a close game, but I agree, Tennessee with the win in the first round.
Looking a little chalky here thus far, but I think we'll get some better matchups rolling in a second. I don't think anybody was talking about this one, right? UConn rolls in that game. All the metrics have them going for them.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that UConn's got Iona in Albany, I mean, that's not fun.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, you're right. And the fact that potential Big East coach Rick Pitino's got to go against Dan Hurley and UConn, that's not, I mean, you don't want that.
UConn was basically like almost a 3 seed too. They're like the closest 3 seed of the 4 seeds, I guess.
And the way they rebound could really make a difference. I mean, they're so good offensive rebounding.
Yeah.
I mean, that could really make a difference later on too.
Klingen's grabbing those boards. He's a glass hog. Well, we got a 5-12 here. According to the metrics, San Diego State's like the most legendary team of all time, apparently. So I don't really know why that is the case. I'm not kidding. I used to have a weird like obsession with Charleston as a kid. Like College of Charleston, really loved them. So I would have loved to see it happen. And honestly, I did pick it. I did pick it in my personal bracket. But with that being said, I know the metrics aren't there, but you know, being a not that big of a believer in my own team of Arkansas, we kind of scraped by an OT win earlier in the year against San Diego State. Just really ugly game. Shouldn't even have really won it, and just not great teams playing there. I just kind of feel like it's not a lot of evidence for it. It's more of just like hey, this is a 5-12. Could be.
You can't judge November games, Graham.
You can't.
We know this.
You cannot judge November games. Right
I just don't do the Mountain West, man. I just don't.
Charleston shot like 20% from 3 in the tournament, the CAA tournament. Like
they
didn't really snuck by.
Maybe they didn't like that arena.
People don't talk about the big arenas making a difference for these small teams. True. I'm San Diego State here.
Yeah, me too. Hands down.
All right. Sounds like Keenan probably is as well. So,
yeah.
San Diego State, Keenan?
Yeah.
This one I'm definitely great. I think we might actually pick this one. Let's see. Alex, you were at the.
So I was at the Missouri Valley tournament last weekend or 2 weekends ago.
Let's go.
I mean, Bradley, I was fully expecting Bradley to win. I mean, we were there to cheer for Belmont, but they didn't even make the semis, so we didn't even get to watch them play. But Drake looked really good. They've got the player of the year in the league, Tucker DeVries. He is so good at shooting off flare screens, taking ISO taking his guy ISO down and just shooting some fadeaways. He's got good moves in the post as well. But Roman Penn is their point guard. He's a fifth-year guy. I think he's all-time games leader at Drake. Very good guard. They've got Brody in the middle, who's like a 6'10", 260 guy, very, very good rebounder. And then they've got a lot of role players. Miami is probably not going to have Norshad Omier, who is, he leads them in the post. He's a very good rebounder. So I think Miami's going to hurt. I think Tucker's going to go off for 30, and I think Drake's going to win.
Keenan, you love this conference, man. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I agree. I think Drake is a great pick for these 12-5 matchups. I think the resume speaks for it. Obviously, beating Bradley twice. They even beat an SEC team, not the most impressive SEC team, but beat Mississippi State. So they have, a record versus, a Power 5 team. So I think this is a scary matchup for Miami. If I was Miami, I'd be pretty upset about having to play Drake in the first round.
One thing to note: games in New York, long way from Miami to travel.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I think we got him. We got him.
It's not super close to Iowa either, but it's definitely maybe a little bit closer.
Are you going with Drake, Austin?
Yeah, I'm with Drake.
All right.
That's a 4 for 4. That's a Wendy's 4 for 4. Sponsor us with a Frosty, man.
Gosh, come on.
Sponsor with a Frosty. Okay, we're moving on to the next one. People are hot on this pick too. The only thing is St. Mary's metrics are unreal. So
why are they unreal? Why are they unreal?
Hey,
because they played.
Don't you say that, Alex.
They do have great wins though too. Virginia Commonwealth, man, the A10 is just. I don't know.
They played so well this weekend. VCU looked so good.
Yeah, I just don't.
I know.
A10 has been good in conference years past. You have your Davidsons, your Daytons. I don't know. It's probably more just wishful thinking. Like St. Mary's always can be good. I just want them to genuinely do it. But
and what is VCU like? That's the thing. Watching St. Mary's, they're going to break it down. They're going to use 28 seconds of the shot clock, and they're going to pound it in and score, get something off the dribble. VCU is going to score in 8 to 10 seconds or 12 seconds in the shot clock. So if VCU can do that, speed up the game, and try to get St. Mary's out of position. They're big guys. St. Mary's big guy really has some moves on the block. But if VCU goes to that trap early, half court or full court, I think they can do it.
I think when you look at this game, comes down to the freshman guard for St. Mary's, Aiden Mahaney. The offense that makes them exceptional runs through him. They're good without him, but they're really good with him. I think it comes down to whether he's there or not. If we're playing the whole travel game, you talk more about time zones than distance. This is a 4 time zone jump for St. Mary's going to Albany, whereas it's just up the road for VCU. So same time zones, body clocks can be messed up, shots got to fall. I'm rocking with St. Mary's. Would not be surprised to see VCU pull this one off.
Either way, the winner's losing in the next round. I think we kind of agree.
I would agree.
Yeah. Keenan, you got St. Mary's.
I do. And I think their resume, beating Gonzaga, hanging with Houston, they've played some tough competition and have shown that they can play against some of the big boys in the league. So I think St. Mary's wins.
Can they do it again? Can they do it again?
If you're going to do it against any team, it's this one.
Wow. Bold move.
Yeah.
Bold move. They're the hottest team in the ACC right now.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm a firm believer in I don't have this data to back this up. Austin, this would be a great data analytics research project. But is teams that are hot in March, how they do in the postseason? And I'm a firm believer that, man, when you get rolling downhill, it's tough to beat a team. And Duke is one of those teams right now. Since they lost to Virginia, a month and a half, 2 months ago, they have been rolling. And I think. In my opinion, in my bracket, they're an Elite 8 team.
My problem with Oral is ESPN has this really helpful stat where they'll say like notable games, and every time like obviously you see Oral, they only have 4 losses. Well, their 4 losses are by like 17, 18 every single time they played a good opponent. So that's
But
the
you've also got to put it in perspective. Teams like Oral Roberts can't schedule anybody on the neutral floor because no Power 5 will agree to it.
That's true.
They've got to travel. Every game they want to play, they've got to travel. And so they're not going to, I mean, I get the Houston loss is bad, but everything else.
Liberty, they won against Liberty. I mean, they were in these games kind of.
Yeah. But Houston's good, man.
I would take Duke here. Take Duke here. Watch for Asmus and watch for Vanover to handle Filipowski and put pressure on the Duke guards.
Yeah.
I'd ride with Duke, probably the safer bet. But like once again, as I mentioned for VCU, like if Oral Roberts can beat anybody, it's this Duke team where they just get rolling. I'm taking Duke.
Hey, if they beat Duke, might as well beat Tennessee, huh? Too. But I don't know if we're pushing that agenda. So
who do you think who guards Filipowski? Is it Vanover?
I personally think they switch to more of a like drop zone and play Vanover inside. Like I personally, Graham, you might be able to test this as an Arkansas fan. I've seen Vanover play. I saw him play back in high school. The brother does not move. He does not move very well.
Apparently he had some sort of awakening this. I don't know if he's still moving, but he's playing better than he used to. But he's
shooting the ball really well.
When he was on my team, I didn't want him to play. I would always say, please sub him out. So, that being said, he's had a great season. I don't know, man. It almost feels like the Magic can't, lightning can't strike twice. That's almost how I feel about it. But maybe it can.
Run with Duke.
Yeah, run with Duke.
All right, we're into 6-11 territory.
I love Creighton.
Me too. I love Creighton.
Creighton. All right, we're putting Creighton. We'll talk about him later.
Press the Creighton button.
Creighton, baby.
Iowa State. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts, but I love their quad one wins. They beat big teams.
Yeah, they did. They have really good wins, but I'm riding with Mississippi State, and the reason is because of their defense, man. The way Mississippi State defends inside, and without what's Iowa State's shooter that they lost, he got dismissed or he left the program.
The white guy.
Yeah. I think they beat Kansas at home, right? And then he left. I don't know if y'all know. Do y'all know?
I heard some mental issues that he was dealing with. Yeah.
Well, just after that, like when I started watching them, like they try to get too much off the dribble. They haven't been hitting enough shots. They could easily beat, this either it's Pitt or Mississippi State. Yeah. I just really like the way Mississippi State's defended. And I think Chris Jans wins another one just like last year. I think he wins another one in the tournament.
The main reason I agree too is these first four, one of them always makes it at least to the second week or the second weekend, not even just the second round, the second weekend typically. And I don't know. I just feel like these two teams are better than your Nevada, Arizona States, but that's kind of why that would be my main argument for it, just because of history there. Austin, you disagree or are you good with it?
No, I think it's a 50-50 game. I think if Pitt wins, the road will be a little easier for Iowa State. I think Mississippi State, Taylor Smith will keep it a big man for Iowa State. He's got a cool name. I don't remember what it is. When he's in trouble. So I think they win, probably easier against Pitt than State. So if you're an Iowa State fan, root for Pitt. But I would still probably play Iowa State here.
Oh, you would put Iowa State here?
I would.
Right. It's 50-50. We can come back to it, but we got this other toss-up game. I just didn't really think I don't like these two teams, either of them. The TCU is really good too.
This is one of those games where I would take any team to beat Arizona State and Nevada, and I would also take any team to beat TCU, but I wouldn't take either one to play each other. So
who do you like in this game, though?
TCU, just because higher seed. I don't like the first four personally for two teams that didn't win a conference tournament and haven't played in a while. It just worries me. So
very cool, very cool. Well, what are y'all's thoughts on putting this one through just for the sake of since
just do it.
Data's there.
I think TCU's a little, I guess, underseeded.
I agree. They're underseeded.
I agree.
Yeah, because of Miles being out for so long, I don't think people have been able to really tell how good they are. I really like what Damian Baugh does, at point, putting Miles to the off guard. But TCU, they're just so unpredictable. They're unpredictable too. There's so many teams that are so unpredictable. You just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Especially they didn't play well last week, I thought, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this is the last 6-11, and then we're getting into just some true coin flips. But I'm just biased, man. I'm biased. I pick the SEC a lot, but Providence is also a team that just lets you down in the tournament, but so is Kentucky. So
whoa, hey.
They do, man. Chris Dunn and Benny Ventil, they were hyping us up this whole time, and I was getting on their bag, riding them to the Final Four, and I think they lost in like the first, second round. So
Providence Sweet 16 last year. People forget.
Yeah, I
go
Providence.
I'd also go Providence.
Yeah,
all right, fine. I'm fine to do it. I'm not that big on Kentucky anymore.
I think Kentucky is bad right now. They have not figured it out. I'm serious. The last 3 weeks they have not had it together.
They got to go against Arkansas. We'll say that.
But Providence has looked bad. Not gonna lie. I mean, they got blown out by Seton Hall.
The Ed Cooley is a way better coach than Calipari, so we'll go with him.
Yes. I agree with that 100%.
Yep.
Go against Coach Cal at all costs.
I love it.
As for scrolling, I believe that the record is Kentucky has not won a tournament game since 2019.
Oh, I love that.
Does Cal get fired if he loses?
Actually, I kind of hope that he doesn't, because I want to see them serve.
I'm telling you, those Kentucky fans are nuts.
Go ahead and fire. Well, I don't want them.
He's got a lifetime contract.
I wouldn't be shocked if he loses again in the first round, or if he accepts another job somewhere else.
He wouldn't do that.
7-10s here. We got Mizzou, Utah State, metrics like Utah State. Again, I just don't like the Mountain West. I also think Missouri's really good. They're old. I feel like they're always old. So somehow that's happening again. And the reason I kind of want to pick Mizzou is just for later down the road, but we can talk about that later too. Unless y'all are really big on Utah State.
Wow.
Oh, you are? Okay, go ahead.
I just think that Utah State is a team that has good guard play, good interior play. They've played teams close in the beginning. I'm not opposed to Missouri. I like Utah State playing hot, playing well. Games in Sacramento, it's close. A little bit of trouble for Mizzou. I said it a lot, but this is one where if you force me to pick a lower seed, I'd pick Utah State. But these games are pretty much 50-50 all the time. So,
and the Mountain West looked so bad last year that I think they're really going to try to. I think that's going to change. I think they're at least going to win 1 or 2 first-round games. And their coach, is it Ryan Odom? He was the coach at UMBC. Do I have that right?
That's right. He beat Virginia.
Yeah. So I mean, he's got some tournament experience, winning games in the tournament, winning a game. So I'm going with Utah State too.
Let's look at for the sake of a 10 getting in there. Well, I'm happy to be swayed over to the Utah State side. With that being said, in my personal bracket, I picked Missouri over Arizona. So just letting y'all know.
You're not going Penn State, Graham?
Keenan, you got to start us off. You have to. I mean, they had a great tournament.
All I'll say, who's hot? I'm going to say we're hot right now. I guess Texas A&M is as well, and they made it to the SEC tournament. This is one I think is a bad draw for Penn State. I think Texas A&M is really good too. I think
way underseeded.
I think honestly, I need to look at what the other 7 seeds. I'm not kidding. We get any other 7 seed, I'm clicking Penn State all day, no doubt about it. Northwestern's a joke 7 seed. The fact that Texas A&M and Northwestern are the same seed in the NCAA tournament is an absolute joke. But that's neither here nor there. In my own personal bracket, I picked Penn State, but honestly, I think probably I wouldn't be shocked if the majority of people pick Texas A&M. They're good. They're a good team.
I have A&M here. Penn State high ceiling, high floor. A&M or high ceiling, low floor for Penn State. A&M mid floor, high ceiling, riding with the volatility. I'll take A&M.
The 8 ball is Jalen Pickett for us.
Yeah.
If Jalen Pickett shows up and Seth Lundy's balling like he has been, and we hit threes, it's we can beat anybody. But if Jalen Pickett doesn't drop at least 20, 25, it could be a rough day.
Yeah.
Who you got, Graham?
I'm rolling with A&M. Just watched them a lot this year, so it's okay, Keenan. I'm probably going to get outvoted in the first round too, so we'll get to that in a second. I mean, here's your joke of a 7 seed, Keenan.
Boise State.
I agree.
Boise State.
All right, that's 3. Yeah, that's 3 out of 4. This one, by the way, just to let y'all know, I was hyped to see this for the historic sense of the fact that it's Spartans Trojans. How legendary can a matchup be? And just to let you know, I mean, obviously, if history repeats itself, then Michigan State is taking the dub. I kind of think it will personally, but that's also you agree, Austin?
I agree. If it works once, it works twice. Michigan State.
Yeah, Tom is 0 in March. Tom is 0 in March.
I'll do it, man. USC's a fraud this year too. I'm not that good. Okay, last little first round matchups here.
Maryland.
You like Maryland?
Yep.
Yeah, it goes against my who's hot. I don't think Maryland's very hot right now, but midway through the season, December to January, mid-January, Maryland was a top 25 team, solid team, got good guard play. I think they beat West Virginia. I don't think West Virginia is very good.
West Virginia, man, I'm not really sure how they got a 9 seed. I'm willing to go with Maryland too.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I'll let y'all have this one, but I'm going West Virginia.
I'm not gonna lie. My personal bracket, I have to be truthful. I did pick West Virginia, but you guys know the Big Ten well.
The only reason is I think that Kevin Willard being his first year, Bob Huggins, I think he gets out coached. I think it's that close. I think it comes down to coaching, and I think Virginia powers them in the paint and wins.
And they bowl just to get destroyed in the next round. But
the only thing I'll say for West Virginia is, gosh, they were in the toughest conference in the nation this year, and they had a gauntlet of a schedule. And you'd say for Maryland, they were in the dang Big Ten that was subpar at best.
Yeah.
Graham, is Osaboyan? Is that how you say his name?
Yes, he is on the.
Is he still on West Virginia?
I think he is. Yeah, pretty funny. This game, I don't know. Yeah,
Auburn.
Iowa
is a home game.
It's a home game.
It's a home game.
It is a home game.
Yeah. How does Auburn get this draw? How? I hope Auburn gets killed, but I mean, Iowa can really score. Auburn cannot score at all. I mean, they are on
Katie level. Johnson, Wendell Green. They can sign them up for the trash championship.
They're horrible. They're horrible.
But honestly, Johnny Broom though, and those forwards are just so good. So that's the issue. Alan Flanagan's a beast too.
Defensively, they're going to carry him, but it being in Birmingham, or where is it? Birmingham, right?
Yeah, Birmingham.
We'll get to it, but that second round matchup, Houston is not going to be fun for them in Birmingham versus Auburn. Solid team. I don't like that matchup for Houston, but we'll get to that in a second.
Last couple. I mean, I guess I'll speak to it. Considering I am an Arkansas fan. Every year, man, I get scared that we're going to lose in the first round. And I do it again here. Illinois is. We're both just not very good. I would say we both had disappointing seasons for what it's worth, especially us considering we were preseason top 10. We've got talent. We've got talent back. Nick Smith is back. We've got these guys. Our defense can show really great flashes. We can have an amazing half, have an A&M down double digits, and then we can just choke. We're the biggest chokers of second halves this year. We are great at building leads and choking second halves. This is also not the old teams that we've had where we have grad transfers. This is a young team. We've got grad transfers, but our guards are mainly underclassmen. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Illinois is a bit older. Maybe I'm wrong about that. You guys can speak to that with the Big Ten, but I personally picked us with kind of a hope that we would win, and with the fact that the repeating champion doesn't make it past the second round since 2015 or 2016. But I'm willing to listen to other arguments. I mean, we're just not very good on offense at times, and we don't know what we're doing.
In most, we trust Arkansas.
Gosh, you always get my back, Austin. Keenan, who'd you pick?
I went Arkansas. I think Illinois is an absolute shambles. I'm not a Brad Underwood fan at all.
So it's just a battle of two struggling teams.
Yeah, I'm going Arkansas.
All right. Well, we get it by virtue of having an
I mean,
amazing
I can
draw.
see Illinois
Easiest-
winning with how inconsistent they both are, but
We probably got the best draw out of any 8 seed, but
yeah, we didn't get the best draw.
no, it's Memphis though.
Book
Memphis
it.
is
Book it.
Memphis.
Sharpie.
Memphis is great, man.
God, thank you.
You can talk
So
real quick.
scary.
Alex. It's your team, bro.
So, I mean, I think Kendrick Davis is the best point guard in the country, point blank. And people can agree, disagree, whatever. I'd take Kendrick Davis over anyone. I think DeAndre Williams is the best role player, one of the best role players in the country. I think what he does around the basket. I think what we're going to do to FAU is what we did to Houston last week. I know people can say, oh, they didn't have Marcus Sasser. Well, Houston didn't play well. I'll give them that. But the way we pressured Houston, the way we pressured them, the way we played them at home, the second matchup, I mean, we're just playing outstanding, and I think we're gonna win by 15. But that's my
People can say Houston doesn't have Marcus Sasser. Well, guess what? FAU also doesn't have Marcus
That's
Sasser.
right.
That's
Right.
true.
I agree.
They're
But-
getting a little overhyped too, to be honest.
No,
Yeah.
they're not overhyped.
You don't think?
No,
No,
I think
I
they're
don't-
good. I think Memphis is better.
Yeah, I agree. I think FAU I think they're underseeded. I think FAU should have been a 7, at least a
Yeah.
6 or
They
7.
have like 30 wins, right?
But it goes back to Oral Roberts. Like, you call people up as a decent mid-major. You can't play any high major schools except go into their arena. You can't. They won't play you on a neutral site, and they sure as heck won't play you in a home and home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
There you have it. This is the perfect at least first round games. If you want to get all of your first round games correct, pick these matchups and you will have 100%, 100th percentile. You know, you're going for that $1 million, $1 billion. But we'll be back to finish it out. This has been the Wizards of Bracketology, and it's been real.